We have Samurai sold out going against WeForm VOLTA. Now, VOLTA, I would assume, are fairly heavy favourites in this match, but Samurai have already beaten Barcode, they've beaten Brave, and now they get to go against VOLTA. And, you know, Barcode and Brave are both really solid teams. Maybe not the level we expect VOLTA to be, but they have not had an easy path into this part of the winners bracket. Basilisk, what are your thoughts on this match?
I have been really excited this match all weekend. I think VOLTA, I mean, they've looked controlled in both of their matches, but they haven't had the toughest opponents. But I mean, they haven't stumbled, they haven't looked weak in any capacity. They've looked really know what they're doing. But Samurai coming up against Thermodynamics or Barcode, and then against Brave with the balls to the wall, what was it, 4 battleships, 4 bombers comp, just really remarkable. So I'm very excited to see what they bring. This could be match of the day.
Yeah, I think I'm probably most excited about this match today as well, just because Samurai is kind of, for me, kind of like the underdog or dark horse of this tournament so far. They've shown really, really good comps and actual piloting skills, especially versus Thermodynamics or Barcode. So I'm really interested to see what they're going to bring to the table, because they did bring 2 different comps last week, whereas you see some teams bring similar to both matches. But VOLTA is a good team, and we just kind of have to wait and see, which I'm sure everyone's excited about.
Samurai could bring something completely unexpected and see how VOLTA react with it, but I mean, VOLTA have looked pretty stable and pretty steady at dealing with what's in front of them, but I mean, they could be unpredictable.
Yeah, I mean, VOLTA are the old team that won, I believe it was AT10, when they were a group under the name of...
Lords of the Deep?
No, it was, oh, this is a terrible time to forget their name. But that group of people under a different name have won the Alliance tournament before, and they will be going through in this tournament. They've always done well since they started cropping up. I think it was AT14 was their first showing. They did some really nice headshot comps. It was verge of collapse. Thank you, Twitch chat. It was on the tip of my tongue. Verge of collapse. They won. Twitch chat shaving me as usual. So yeah. And then all of the people actually working on the show giving me different names in the production chat to try and make me say the wrong one. Thanks, guys. Although amusingly, Elise Randolph getting it wrong, which is rare. Still, going on to the actual match, let's have a little think. So let's do official predictions. Basilisk, who's your money on for this match?
I don't know. I really don't know. I think I'm going to go VOLTA. I think they're going to. I want Samurai to win it, but I think VOLTA might have it.
Let's.
I think VOLTA has the better pedigree, but I'm gonna go with the underdog, Samurai.
I like an underdog story. I'm gonna go with Samurai as well. The match is very nearly ready, but we just have a minute or two before it is. I would like to look forward to the coming matches of the day again. So after this match, we have NC Dot versus PL.
Another good match.
Yeah, my home alliance battling out against, it's like a buddy cop movie, NC and Dot PL, like in the squad car around Tranquility. Then you've got Skill Yourself going up against the Initiative. Then Hydra Reloaded versus Triumvirate. Tuskers versus Exodus. Laserhawks versus Bright Side of Death. And then Castabouts versus a Band Apart to round out the day. 1 minute left to go. We've done our predictions, so let us remind everyone on the stream that we have our finals party on the 18th of August. That's the very final day of the tournament. I'll be here. I think, Laz, you'll probably be back in the US,
Monday,
unfortunately. Basilisk,
I don't think I will be here.
Will not be around either. I will be, and most of the other commentators that are England-based will be around as well. We're flying in, I believe it's Elise and Rain.
Rain will be here. I don't believe Lise will.
No.
But so I think it's Rain, Reload, maybe Satonia.
and
Yeah.
Gentle.
Yeah. So we'll have a ton of guys down here. It's going to be a great party. All of the ticket money from that is going to the charities UKO, TCF and Special Effect 50/50. And we're going to be joined by special guests from CCP Karka, Antiquarian and Shreddy. And let us not forget the biggest shout out of all to our Chill Blast sponsors for the 5 badass, tricked out awesome PCs that Chill Blast produce, running our stream beautifully, smoothly and coolly.
I tried to fit one in my suitcase, but it was a little too big.
Yeah, I have a Cooler Master case for my PC at home. It is very, very nice. So yeah, let us head over to the match and see who is going to win.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this exciting match between Samurai Soldier and We Form VOLTA. I am Ithaca Hawk, joined by Black Bart P-Rate, and we are looking forward to this exciting match right here, right now. VOLTA carrying the big balls that they have, coming in right at 0, the whole team, apart from that little Talia of Starfleet Commander sitting up at 10 kilometers. The rest of them, they're there at 0, ready to brawl Samurai Soldier in the face. VOLTA bringing the sort of the Navy battlecruiser comp that they brought earlier on in the tournament, with the Thorax, Vedmak, Zealot, Sacrilege, Demos, and then that Talia as well. Bart, what are Samurai Soldier bringing against this VOLTA comp?
Samurai Soldat's actually coming a little bit farther off, so maybe a little trepidation on their side, but they are bringing something kind of similar. They're actually bringing in a Stardate Fleet Hurricane, Navy Harbinger, Navy Brutix, Deimos, Zealot, Kitsune, Vedmak, Thalia, and a Deacon, so kind of bringing the same top in, but they're actually going for a little bit more control and a little bit repping. It's kind of cool to see two very similar styled teams, but VOLTA definitely going in balls deep, all out DPS here.
Yeah, so it looks like the Samurai Soldier team choosing to bring that Astarte for sort of the Tech 2 command ship links, whereas VOLTA going for the Navy battlecruisers and the Tech 1 battlecruisers. On the flip side, Samurai Soldier bringing the double Tech 2 logistic frigate. What do you make of that versus the single Talia of Starfleet Commander?
It's kind of interesting. By bringing two logistics frigates means that they're missing a DPS ship. The Talia of Starfleet Commander, he can probably keep people up for a little bit, but both sides have ridiculously high DPS. So I'm not really sure. I think that Starfleet, he's probably not going to make a huge difference in here unless he does some real crazy piloting and maybe manages to maybe distract them a bit with his ship. They try and kill him first, but we'll see what happens here. I think Samurai sold out. Like, they definitely have the repping power on their side, but the tracking of those Navy battlecruisers is so high that even little logistics frigates can be taken down pretty easily.
Yeah, it looks like Samurai Soldier are choosing to ban the Falcon and Curse, so they didn't want to see ECM, they didn't want to see Newts, and then they banned that Rubisu, knowing that VOLTA, having shown one last year, they have one, and it's still a very powerful ship, even though a little less powerful than last year. On the VOLTA side, choosing to ban the Guardian and the Oneros, get rid of both those armor logistics cruisers, and the Leshak. Any idea why they might ban the Leshak?
But Leshaks do so much damage, especially to battlecruiser-sized targets, and as the match goes on, more and more Leshaks just become more and more powerful. I think that they just did not want to see the potential Leshak ECM comp, but Samurai Soldat ended up bringing one anyways. And as the match starts, we're going to kind of see are they both going to go after the same target? Are they going to mix it up a little bit? And right away, we actually see VOLTA kind of burning pretty close in and setting up around the thing, and there's a ton of EC drones out. And
the Kitsune is down already. Wow, that was like 10 seconds and that Kitsune was removed. I'm almost guaranteed as soon as the VOLTA team landed on the field, they saw that Kitsune. Starfleet Commander got triggered and then just called for that to be the first primary, and it was removed so fast by the combined damage from the VOLTA team. They're choosing now to shoot the Deacon, and the Talia is repping it, but he is dropping fairly quickly.
Yeah, the Harbinger is actually dropping really, really quickly here too, and there is an attempted MJD going out, but yeah, it looks like the VOLTA's primary actually MJD'd out, so the Harbinger is going to live for a little longer in about half structure, and there's a huge swarm of EC drones hitting all of the Samurai sold out battlecruisers. So while VOLTA did not bring an actual main control, they actually are getting so many EC drones out that they're probably getting some serious jams off right here. VOLTA's Thorax is going to go down quite quickly though, very, very squishy ship, and VOLTA still has not gotten a second kill on the field. However, they are switching to the Thalia, and they're bringing it down really quickly here, too.
Yeah, the combined damage in these teams is just absolutely huge. This is probably two of the highest damage comps we've seen brought by two teams, so this is probably going to be a quick match. I mean, you see the Harbinger on the VOLTA side just hanging on into Hull as he is just not dying, but the Vedmak now tackled, painted, and reps landing on him from the Talia. He's still dropping, though. On the other side, the Talia is back up to full armor as his Deacon buddies manage to zoom back in and get reps on him. At the moment, this is still looking pretty difficult for VOLTA because the Vedmak is about to drop. They need to kill one of these Navy battlecruisers pretty quickly, although I say that Hurricane is dropping now.
Yeah, they're actually switching to the Hurricane. I think they realized that they did not have the DPS or the tracking to break those, but they just lost a Vedmak, so they may have made a bit of a poor choice by going after ships they can't really track. The Harbinger of Nathan is finally back in range and opening fire again, though, so that might be able to cause some damage. And actually, Samurai's maybe going after a Sacrilege, which is really poor target calling, meaning probably the tankiest ship on grid right here. And Samurai's going to lose a Fleet Hurricane here, potentially not even take down the Sacrilege.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a reasonable trade, actually, for VOLTA. Getting that Kitsune down and a Fleet Hurricane for a Vedmak and a Thorax is pretty solid. That Kitsune has a lot of power on the field the longer it stays, and of course it can just sit at range and jam and jam and jam. So removing that quickly is a pretty good choice. Now, the Brutix of VOLTA is starting to go down pretty fast as well, but if they can trade this Fleet Hurricane and stop the damage, they might be able to stabilize. They only have that one Talia, but he is doing pretty good work and keeping those ships alive. I say that, and Control Freak is into Hull and still dropping, and the Navy Harbinger now, Samurai Soldier, is the next primary for the VOLTA team.
Yeah, Control Freak is actually burning straight towards that MJD beacon, and if he's able to hold on for just a little bit longer and hit that MJD, he might be able to pull the exact same trick that Nathan did and just get out. And again, while we're seeing this, like, VOLTA is definitely showing off their kind of elite PvP status here by having their individual members fly off and try and get out of this area. Where Samurai Sold Out, they're just kind of balling up, and it looks like Control Freak, he is in position to MJD, but he has not chosen to do so yet, as he is holding, thanks to that lone Thalia that I was kind of shit-talking, and actually, apparently, it's enough to keep him alive. And as the Navy Harbinger goes down,
yeah, it looks like he's managed to burn far enough away to get out of the optimal range of the Samurai team, and as the damage drops off from that second battlecruiser going down, the reps from that Talia are able to just keep Control Freak in the Brutes alive, and he's probably got rails, so he's probably able to still hit and do a lot of damage from the range he's at. Meanwhile, Samurai Soldier aren't applying quite as well as maybe they wish, so he's starting to regenerate armor. So they're going to have to think about switching to a different target, and it looks like they are. It looks like they're switching to the Navy Harbinger, I think.
Yeah, they're putting a little damage on the Navy Harbinger. They threw a little damage on the Sacrilege, but I think they're still actually going through that Brutix. And WeForm VOLTA tried to headshot the Thalia. He actually had pretty bad transversal for a second there, so they almost took him down, but his reflexes saved him. And this Brutix is barely holding on. I think that he really needs to consider MJDing out. I know he's trying to hold on for the last little bit of DPS, but he actually has gone a little too far off, and he dies now. He flew a little bit too far away from the MJD and wasn't able to pull the same trick that Nathan did.
Yeah, meanwhile, that's Sacrilege. He is tackled, so he's not going to be able to MGD away, but he is still holding on. He's probably got his ADC active right now, as he's just not moving down in low armor. Meanwhile, the Vedmak in the Samurai Soldier team is starting to drop. The fact that the VOLTA team have spent a lot of time shooting the Talia and the Deacon has been a little bit bad for them because they haven't managed to remove them, so that's wasted shots. But as I say that Vedmak is tackled, he's painted, and the Sacrilege now in the VOLTA team is down, so they need to get this Vedmak. At the moment, VOLTA have a 3-point edge, and that Vedmak is going to die. But if that Harbinger of Nathan doesn't survive long enough to apply more damage, then this match is still anyone's game.
And you can see that Samurai Sold Out's actually looking to go after that Navy Harbinger. Nathan is still, like, he's positioned really far away and blasting away with Aurora, so he should be okay where he is. I don't think they're going to waste shots trying to take him down, but they did just take his shield down, so he might be going down a little bit. And this Vedmak is barely holding, and we're seeing that double logistics frigate doing quite well. So if they're not able to, VOLTA's not able to get another kill here or two, they might actually fade out here. Nathan's actually burning back in and getting repped up now by Starfleet Commander, but by burning in, he's burning for the MJD beacon, but he's also putting himself in range here. So there's a chance that he might actually go down before he can MJD again.
Yeah, he's just got such a sliver of hull left, and there he's down. So that is another battlecruiser down for the VOLTA side there. So now the points advantage is to the Samurai Sold Out team, 10 points up. If they can kill this Vedmak, that's quite a lot of DPS off the field, because that Vedmak can charge up to about 800 DPS or so. But with now less damage on the field from their side, and still the Talia and still the Deacon, that is a lot to chew through, and it looks like he's starting to regenerate armor. So they're going to probably have to think about swapping targets. Now, the Navy Harbinger of Theronth is now dropping as well, so this looks like it could have been that losing that Harbinger and the Brutus could have been the straw that broke the camel's back here, because they might not have enough DPS now to break through those logistics.
Yeah, if they're not able to take down one of those logistics frigates here, or the Vedmak, like those are basically the two easiest targets to take down. And I mean, if they're not able to bring a Vedmak down, I don't think VOLTA actually has enough DPS anymore unless they can do something crazy. And the Harbinger Navy issue is hitting structure right now. Harbinger Navy issue is actually MJDing away, so he's the first person from that first move by Nathan who's going to pull off the MJD away when he's in low structure. So good piloting on his part, and Harbinger Navy issues have such long range and tracking. He can actually kind of fly back in just a little bit closer and maybe start applying to any of the other ships. And Samurai Sold Out, again, they're having a little bit of a slow reaction time every time this happens, but they switch straight back on, or they switch straight onto the Zealot, who is already kind of low, and the Zealot's positioning is so deep in the middle of the Samurai Sold Out team that he has no ability to actually make a break for it to an MJD, so he's probably going to go down without even getting repped too much.
Yeah, I mean, let's just shout out the piloting by the Samurai Sold Out team, specifically their Talia and their Deacon here. Those guys did a really good job. That Deacon who managed to MGD away towards the start of the match, pretty much, I would say, is what's saving the match for the Samurai Sold Out team at this point. If he had died, then almost certainly that Talia would have died pretty soon afterwards. But instead, he was able to get out. He was able to then burn back in and rep his Talia bud out, and meant that those two survived. That's probably the single moment that if that hadn't happened, if he hadn't activated that micro jump drive beacon and got away, this match would have probably gone the other way. But as it stands, trying to drop through Hull, the Navy Harbinger Theranth is deep into Hull, and Cebus in the Zealot is also dropping it through armor. So the Volta team have to pull something pretty spectacular if they want to break through the Talia and the Deacon.
Yeah, like Starfleet Commander is doing some pretty ridiculous hero logic considering he's in a little frigate, but at the end of the day, one Thalia is not going to keep you up through an Astarte and Vedmak and all the other ships that they still have. So Volta's definitely showing off some like incredible single solo piloting right here and staying quite alive. But unless they can get some like really crazy lucky EC drone jams on those two logistics frigates, I don't think they're actually going to take anything down. And Navy Brutix is hitting pretty low structure at this point. Again, he's kind of pretty close to an MJD beacon. Well, not really. I was going to say it looks like he might be turning into one right now, and he might try and do the same trick. I think that they're having this weird thing where they're trying to keep him alive with just the logistics frigate, and you can see that Starfleet Commander is right on top of Annie, repping as hard as he can. But again, it's really difficult for these ships to actually take down completely unencumbered logistics frigates. Their signature is just so small that the battlecruiser guns are having trouble hitting them.
Yeah, I think what really needs to happen for Volta here is they need to, first of all, not lose anything, and that Navy Brutix is really struggling, and they need some jams to land on the Talia and the Deacon. They need to kill one, that'll let them kill the other, and then they finish off the Vedmak, and then they be even on points, which will allow it to go to overtime, and maybe they stand a chance of DPSing some stuff down. However, for that to happen, Annie needs to not die in his Navy Brutix, and right now he's not doing a great job of not dying, as he appears to be dying.
Yeah, he's doing the best he can, but like at the end of the day, you have a single Thalia repping you versus 5 DPS ships, and it's never a situation you want to be in. There's a reason why we always see logistics frigates come in pairs. I guess this is kind of the point. Like I hate to call it for Volta already, but there's 50 seconds left, and I don't think that Volta's going to be able to take down any more ships at this point. Or they might get the Vedmak down, but even if they get it down, they'll still have to get 1 or 2 more ships. They need 10 points, and the only way to tie this up is they'd have to take down the Vedmak, the Thalia, and the Deacon in the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's a big ask in 30 seconds. Although Annie is living to win. He is regenerating his armor. He's back to 15%. Down to he was at 9% structure. The Vedmak is also hitting Hull. Maybe it's just a morale win. Can they kill this Vedmak before the match is over? It looks like they might just be able to squeak it through as he's starting to drop through Hull, but they're going to have to be quick about it. And unless some ship in the Samurai Sold Out team boundaries in the next 10 seconds, this win is going to go to Samurai Sold Out, who have been a very impressive team. We've seen them a couple times this tournament already, and I think we're all impressed just how well they've been flying. And it looks like, they're going to take a very, very well-deserved win over WeForm Volta in Alliance Tournament 16. What an absolutely fantastic match, and we'll hand it back to Apothene and the boys in the studio.
Lovely little upset there. Extraordinarily close match. But Samurai Sold Out edging it out.
I kind of knew it was going to happen. I mean,
Yeah, okay. Basilisk?
That match was intense.
Yeah.
Both teams are really good. That was a very, very good match, very high skill.
There's a lot of things we can point out there.
There is so much to talk about.
Yeah, like a lot of little things that might have been missed. Like the one thing I really want to point out is the target calling by Samurai. We saw them swap to the Sacrilege for a second, and of course the Sacrilege, being a heavy assault cruiser, gets the assault damage control, which raises resist pretty high. I mean, it makes it pretty near unkillable, especially with the Sacrilege already being tanky. And they immediately, it looks like they pop the ADC and then immediately swap targets. Yeah. So that ADC goes on cooldown for, I think it's a minute.
I think it's a minute and a half.
Yeah, it's
a long time.
It's just a long time in the tournament setting. So like they did. And then they eventually came back to the Sacrilege knowing its ADC was on cooldown, and it was just like they just melted it. It was just such a good match. I think another thing I wanted to point out was Samurai's positioning. So you had Volta at 0, but Samurai I think warped in at max range or 40 kilometers. I mean, like, it was off the beacon. So backwards. Exactly. So they didn't have to move. They had the dual Logifrags. They just sat there and just threw out damage with long range weapon systems. I mean, you had the Rail Starte, the Harbinger, the Fleet Hurricane. I mean, it was really well done. And I guess my last shout out for right now, at least, was Starfleet. Starfleet on Volta's side did work as that single logistics frigate, because you saw anytime that one of their battlecruisers was taking damage, they'd start burning away, and Volta was just all over the field. Like he was going, staying within optimal range so he can get optimal reps. I mean, it was an amazing match.
Great match, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, once I saw that Kitsune just obliterated at the very beginning of the match, I thought, okay, that's some jams down. They might have been relying on that, but no, it was so close for so long, and eventually, just towards the very end, did it really become apparent who had taken the advantage, despite the amazing positioning of Volta and the tricks with the MJD and what have you.
Actually, go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so you just brought one more thing. I was talking about the Logifrigs, and I don't know if this was intentional, so I can't give like full credit without knowing, but the Logifrigs, the Deacon and Thalia for Samurai, it looked like they were kiting into range of the long-range turrets of Volta and then coming back out of range to get rep back up. So I don't know if it was their baiting, just because then they're coming back knowing they're small sig, harder to track. I mean, I don't know, because both of them got primary at one point and they all just they pulled range, got repped up, and kind of went back in. So exceptional piloting.
I think you can't understate the amount of credit that Samurai deserve for that match, just because, I mean, they brought a very similar comp to what Volta brought. They brought something very similar sort of archetype, 4 battle cruisers. I think they had 2 hacks instead of 3. And basically just beat them at their own game, and all credit, fantastic piloting.